This story has an unexpected twist. Let's watch.
You've selected the wrong woman to accost today. General Nadia Brooks maintained a resolute and powerful tone as Officer Caney forcibly bent her arm backward. The metallic restraints clasped around her wrists, constricting them with excessive force, digging into her flesh and drawing blood. Insubordination towards an officer, Captain Harlan loomed above her. That's how individuals like you find themselves in predicaments. General Nadia Brooks imprinted his badge number, his name, identification, and the distinctive mark above his left eye into her memory. Conduct a thorough examination for any concealed weaponry, Captain Harlan ordered. Officer Kane prodded her ribs during the search, subsequently discovering her wallet, keys, and mobile device, which he unceremoniously deposited into an evidence receptacle. "Is something amusing?" Captain Harlan demanded upon observing her composed demeanor. General Nadia Brooks offered no verbal response. They failed to detect the military communication device concealed within the lining of her jacket. "Escort her to the vehicle," Captain Harlan barked. "A stint in confinement will undoubtedly rectify that attitude." They forcefully pushed her head down and compelled her into the patrol car. They were entirely unaware of the individual they had just apprehended. Fluorescent lighting hummed overhead in the processing area, which carried an odor of perspiration and cleaning solvents. General Nadia Brooks remained perfectly still for her booking photograph as the camera shutter clicked. "State your designation," the booking officer requested without diverting his gaze from his computer screen. "Nadia Brooks." "Address?" She provided her residential location on Maple Avenue. The officer paused, his eyes narrowing. "That falls within Westfield Heights." His tone shifted perceptibly, recognizing the predominantly African-American community. General Nadia Brooks pressed her thumb firmly against the fingerprint scanner, the dark ink leaving a temporary stain on her skin. Behind her, Captain Harlan and Officer Kane exchanged amused glances near the water cooler. "Another one from that district who fancies herself special," Officer Kane remarked, his voice carrying deliberately, as if the checkpoint protocol was inapplicable to her. "We had to bring her in line," Captain Harlan responded. "These individuals require instruction." General Nadia Brooks meticulously recorded every utterance, every tonal nuance, and every facial expression, observing her processing. "May I make a telephone call?" she inquired of the booking officer. He gestured toward the wall-mounted telephone. "One opportunity. Make it impactful." General Nadia Brooks dialed a sequence from recollection. Not her legal counsel, nor her family. The operations center at the Pentagon. A sharp, clear voice responded. "Authorization code Tango Delta 7949. General Nadia Brooks articulated her words with precision. "Initiating protocol oversight Delta. Location transmitting." A brief silence ensued. "Confirmed. General Brooks, the response team is being deployed." She ended the call just as Councilman Derek Vaughn forcefully entered the station. His expensive attire and championship ring gleamed under the stark illumination. "Another troublemaker?" Councilman Vaughn demanded, peering through the glass partition at General Nadia Brooks. Captain Harlan nodded. "We are currently processing her, sir." "Excellent," Councilman Vaughn stated. "These checkpoint resistors must face consequences. The program is of paramount importance." General Nadia Brooks was escorted to a holding cell. The metal door clanged shut behind her. She settled onto the bench, maintaining an upright posture and a composed countenance. Soon, everything would undergo a transformation. The setting sun cast an orange hue across the sky above Westfield Heights as General Nadia Brooks navigated her unassuming sedan through the familiar thoroughfares. The neighborhood transitioned from a predominantly black demographic to the more affluent Caucasian suburbs of Greenfield. Flashing blue lights illuminated the scene ahead. Police cruisers had effectively blocked the road, a checkpoint. General Nadia Brooks decelerated, her window already retracting. She had committed no infraction. This should have been a brief interaction. Officer Kane approached, his flashlight beam sweeping across her face. "License and registration." General Nadia Brooks slowly reached for her glove compartment. May I inquire as to the purpose of this checkpoint, officer? Officer Kane stiffened. Routine identification verification at present. She presented her driver's license. Officer Caney examined it, his flashlight lingering on her residential address. Westfield Heights resident, he stated into his radio, requesting additional confirmation. General Nadia Brooks noted his emphasis on her neighborhood. Is there an issue with my identification, officer? Remain here. Officer Caney retreated to the patrol car, his license in hand. General Nadia Brooks observed in her rearview mirror as he presented it to another officer. They both regarded her vehicle and chuckled. Captain Harlan emerged from the command vehicle. Officer Caney gestured towards General Nadia Brooks's automobile. Captain Harlan nodded and approached with deliberate slowness. Exit your vehicle, ma'am. His tone conveyed a distinct lack of deference despite the formal address. May I inquire why? My license is valid. Step out now. Captain Harlan's hand rested on his sidearm. We are implementing an enhanced search protocol. General Nadia Brooks was cognizant of her rights. An enhanced search necessitates reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. What is your suspicion, Captain? Captain Harlan's expression hardened. Out of the car. General Nadia Brooks complied, her movements measured. I wish to document that this appears to be selective enforcement. We determine what constitutes selectivity, Captain, Harlan stated. Hands on the hood. I do not consent to a search of my vehicle without probable cause, General Nadia Brooks stated calmly. Terry versus Ohio and Delaware versus Prowse. Establish clear guidelines for... Look at the attorney here, Officer Kane mocked, advancing closer. Thinks she knows the law. General Nadia Brooks held her ground. I am well versed in my Fourth Amendment rights. Captain Harlan moved nearer. Your kind always seeks to complicate matters. My kind? General Nadia Brooks raised an eyebrow. Troublemakers, Captain Harlan clarified, but the implication hung palpably in the air. Other motorists observed from their vehicles, some capturing the events on their mobile devices. Captain Harlan noticed and signaled to another officer. Clear these vehicles through. No recordings. General Nadia Brooks observed Officer Lang approaching vehicles and instructing individuals to put their phones away. She committed each face to memory, along with every badge number and license plate. Final opportunity, Captain Harlan stated. Consent to search or face obstruction charges. I respectfully decline and request a supervisor, General Nadia Brooks declared, her voice steady and professional. I am the supervisor. Captain Harlan signaled to Officer Kane. Detain her. Officer Kane seized General Nadia Brooks' arm, twisting it behind her back. A sharp pain shot through her shoulder. Stop resisting, Officer Kane shouted, although she was not actively resisting. I am not resisting, General Nadia Brooks stated clearly, aware of the need to create an audio record. I am complying under protest. Captain Harlan stepped closer. You do not dictate our procedures. General Nadia Brooks observed Officer Kane's body camera. The red recording indicator blinked off. Your body camera appears to be malfunctioning, Officer Kane, she noted. Mind your own affairs. Officer Kane tightened his grip. General Nadia Brooks's military conditioning took over. She could have incapacitated both officers within seconds, but that was not her objective. Not for tonight's mission. I will be submitting a formal complaint, she stated instead. Captain Harlan chuckled. Good luck with that. Councilman Vaughn personally oversees checkpoint operations. Your complaint will go directly into his waste bin. General Nadia Brooks's wristwatch pressed against her wrist. The military device was capturing every word, every confession. Evidence collection was ongoing. Search the vehicle, Captain Harlan instructed another officer. Sir, without a warrant, General Nadia Brooks began. We possess checkpoint authority under City Ordinance 27-9, Captain Harlan interrupted, ratified by the Council last month. General Nadia Brooks was aware of the ordinance, its constitutional infirmities, and precisely who had championed its passage. Find anything? Captain Harlan called to the officer searching her car. Clear, sir. Captain Harlan appeared disappointed. Check under the seats. These Westfield individuals are invariably concealing something. General Nadia Brooks' fingers discreetly depressed a button on her watch. the GPS tracker activated. Pentagon systems were now monitoring her location in real time. "Nothing, sir," the officer reported. Captain Harlan turned back to General Nadia Brooks. "Well, you are still interfering with a lawful checkpoint. That constitutes obstruction." "Challenging constitutional protections is not obstruction," General Nadia Brooks countered. "And now you are arguing with an officer." Captain Harlan nodded to Officer Kane. "Cuff her." The metallic restraints bit into her wrists as Officer Kane secured them with deliberate excessive force. "Nadia Brooks, you are under arrest for obstruction of justice and resisting a lawful checkpoint inspection," Captain Harlan recited, a tone of satisfaction evident in his voice. General Nadia Brooks noticed a young woman in a nearby vehicle recording surreptitiously. Their eyes met briefly. General Nadia Brooks offered an imperceptible nod. "You have the right to remain silent," Captain Harlan continued. "I am aware of my Miranda rights, Captain," General Nadia Brooks interrupted. "I presume you will be transporting me to the Greenfield station." Captain Harlan paused, taken aback by her composure. "That is correct. I will require my phone call upon our arrival. You will receive whatever we decide to grant you," Officer Kane stated, pushing her toward the patrol car. As they led her away, General Nadia Brooks glanced at Officer Lang, who was diverting another Westfield Heights resident for additional scrutiny. 3 vehicles driven by Caucasians passed through without being stopped. Pattern established, evidence accumulating. Officer Kane shoved her head down, forcing her into the rear seat. "Officer Kane, badge number 4572. That application of force is unnecessary and excessive," General Nadia Brooks stated for her watch's recording. "Silence," Officer Kane snapped, slamming the door. Through the window, General Nadia Brooks observed Captain Harlan conversing with another officer. He gestured towards Westfield Heights and chuckled. The cruiser pulled away. General Nadia Brooks sat calmly in the back, mentally reviewing the Pentagon protocol she had just initiated. The situation was unfolding precisely as anticipated. The interrogation room at the Greenfield station carried the scent of stale coffee and floor cleaner. A solitary overhead light cast stark shadows. The metal table was secured to the floor. General Nadia Brooks sat with her back straight in the uncomfortable chair, her handcuffs still uncomfortably tight. The door opened. Captain Harlan entered, carrying a slim folder and General Nadia Brooks's confiscated possessions. He placed them on the table. "Comfortable?" His smile did not reach his eyes. General Nadia Brooks offered no response. The less she divulged, the more they would reveal. Captain Harlan opened the folder. "Nadia Brooks, Westfield Heights address. No prior record." He looked up. "First time being educated about checkpoint compliance. I wish to speak with legal counsel at my earliest convenience." Captain Harlan circled the table. "We are merely having a discussion first. I invoke my right to counsel." General Nadia Brooks' voice remained level and precise. Captain Harlan disregarded her. "You see, we have an issue in this community. Individuals who do not respect authority, people who believe rules are not applicable to them." He leaned against the wall, observing her. "Checkpoints ensure Greenfield's safety. Some individuals dislike being scrutinized. Those individuals typically have something to conceal." General Nadia Brooks maintained her silence. Her military training encompassed resistance to interrogation techniques. Captain Harlan's amateur intimidation tactics would not faze a cadet in their first year. "Nothing to say?" Captain Harlan flipped through her wallet. "Interesting identification you possess here." He withdrew her military ID, examined it, and snorted. "Marine Corps General, 4 stars." He tossed it onto the table. "A clever fabrication, adding impersonating military personnel to your charges." General Nadia Brooks observed him carefully. "That identification is authentic, is it not?" Captain Harlan laughed. "And I am the Secretary of Defense." His phone buzzed. He checked the screen and nodded slightly. "Our concerned citizen has arrived," Captain Harlan announced, moving towards the door. "Someone wishes to meet the latest checkpoint troublemaker." General Nadia Brooks's photographic memory catalogued every procedural violation, every instance of disregarded Miranda compliance, and every infringement of civil rights. Captain Harlan exited. Through the thin walls, General Nadia Brooks heard a new voice, authoritative and impatient. Another one from that neighborhood. The voice belonged to Councilman Derek Vaughan. "Yes, sir," Captain Harlan responded. "Presented us with the usual constitutional discourse, possessed a fabricated military ID as well." "Military?" Councilman Vaughan sounded intrigued. "What branch?" "Marines. Claims to be a general." Captain Harlan's laughter echoed through the wall. "Obtain what you require and process her," Councilman Vaughan instructed. "Make an example. These individuals who resist checkpoints are undermining the entire program." General Nadia Brooks noticed the one-way glass and sensed Councilman Vaughan observing from the other side. The door opened once more. Captain Harlan returned with Officer Kane. "Let us try again." Captain Harlan slapped a form onto the table. "Sign this confession of obstruction. Accept a misdemeanor charge, and you will be released by morning." General Nadia Brooks studied the document without touching it. "I will require my attorney present before signing anything." Officer Kane stepped forward. "The captain asked you politely, and I respectfully declined," General Nadia Brooks responded. Captain Harlan nodded to Officer Kane, who positioned himself behind General Nadia Brooks' chair. His presence was intended to intimidate. "You people from Westfield Heights believe you are special," Captain Harlan stated. "You think the rules do not apply, but Councilman Vaughan's checkpoint program has reduced crime in Greenfield by 30%. "By targeting specific neighborhoods?" General Nadia Brooks inquired. Captain Harlan's expression hardened. "By enforcing the law where enforcement is necessary." "Selective enforcement is not lawful enforcement," General Nadia Brooks asserted. Officer Kane placed heavy hands on her shoulders. "You should heed the captain." General Nadia Brooks remained unfazed by the physical intimidation. "I believe this interview has concluded until my legal counsel arrives." Captain Harlan gathered her belongings, intentionally dropping her military ID on the floor. He stepped on it as he walked around the table. "This little military costume does not impress me," he sneered, picking up the ID. "Although I do admire the attention to detail. 4 stars, an ambitious fake." He tossed the ID back onto the table. Officer Caney increased pressure on General Nadia Brooks' shoulders. "We have all night," Captain Harlan declared. "Ample time for you to reconsider that signature." A sharp rap interrupted. The door opened almost immediately. Detective Javier Ruiz stood in the doorway. His expression shifted from professional to perplexed as he took in the scene. "Captain," Detective Ruiz stated carefully. "A moment outside." Captain Harlan hesitated, then nodded to Officer Kane. "Watch her." The door closed behind them. Through the wall, General Nadia Brooks heard urgent whispers. The conversation grew animated. Someone knocked insistently on the interrogation room door. The door swung open. Detective Javier Ruiz entered, followed by a visibly agitated Captain Harlan. Detective Ruiz, in his mid-30s with observant eyes, carried himself with a different demeanor than the other officers. His badge hung from a chain around his neck. His suit, though department issue, fit him impeccably. "Officer Kane, you are needed at the front desk," Detective Ruiz announced. Officer Kane looked to Captain Harlan, who nodded reluctantly. Officer Kane departed, closing the door firmly behind him. Detective Javier Ruiz approached the table. He picked up General Nadia Brooks' military ID, examining it closely. "Captain, this ID possesses appropriate security features," Detective Ruiz stated. "The holographic seal, microprinting, UV watermarks, all authentic military issue." Captain Harlan scoffed. "It's a convincing forgery." "No, sir," Detective Ruiz replied. He placed the ID gently on the table. "I served prior to joining the department. This is genuine." Captain Harlan's confidence wavered momentarily. So, she stole a military ID, adding to the charges. General Nadia Brooks observed the dynamic between them. Detective Ruiz represented something uncommon: integrity within a compromised system. "Ma'am," Detective Ruiz addressed General Nadia Brooks directly, "may I inquire as to your name and rank?" "General Nadia Brooks, United States Marine Corps." Detective Ruiz instinctively straightened. Military bearing does not diminish with time. And what brings you to Greenfield, General? Detective Ruiz inquired. Before General Nadia Brooks could respond, Captain Harlan interjected. Detective, she is being processed for obstruction and checkpoint evasion. Her occupation is irrelevant. Sir, if she is active military, we have jurisdictional protocols to follow, Detective Ruiz countered. Captain Harlan stepped closer to Detective Ruiz. I am managing this case. Captain, departmental policy mandates verification of military credentials. Detective Ruiz persisted. Section 14 of our procedural manual specifically states, I am aware of the manual, Captain Harlan snapped. Then you are aware that we are already in violation of proper procedure. Detective Ruiz did not yield. No legal representation present despite a request. Continued questioning after invoking rights. Extended detention without processing. Captain Harlan's jaw tightened. Detective, maintain your position. My position is ensuring departmental procedures are followed. Detective Ruiz replied evenly. He turned back to General Nadia Brooks's ID, examining the rank insignia. His eyes widened. Sir, Detective Ruiz whispered, these are 4 stars. So, 4 stars represents the highest rank in the Marine Corps. Detective Ruiz looked at General Nadia Brooks with newfound comprehension. There are only a select few individuals in the entire military. Captain Harlan's composure further deteriorated. It's still a fake. The interrogation room door swung open. Councilman Derek Vaughn entered without a knock. His tailored suit and signet ring projected an aura of authority and wealth. Captain, what is causing the delay? Councilman Vaughn demanded. I assumed this was routine processing. His gaze fell upon General Nadia Brooks. He assessed her with practiced political calculation. Councilman, Detective Ruiz stated, we have a developing situation. This individual appears to be a high-ranking military officer. Councilman Vaughn scoffed. Based on what? Military identification consistent with a Marine Corps general, Detective Ruiz explained. We need to verify through appropriate channels before proceeding. Detective, is it? Councilman Vaughn checked Detective Ruiz's nameplate. Your attention to procedure is duly noted. For now, allow the captain to handle this. Detective Ruiz stood firm. Sir, with all due respect, if we have improperly detained a military general, the department faces severe repercussions. If, Councilman Vaughn emphasized, a notably significant conditional. He turned to Captain Harlan. Captain, handle the paperwork and process her. Detective, you are required elsewhere. Sir, Detective Ruiz protested. Standard protocol requires... Standard protocol is precisely what I decree it to be, Councilman Vaughn interrupted. The checkpoint program operates under Special City Ordinance, my ordinance. General Nadia Brooks observed Detective Ruiz carefully. She perceived the instant his professional ethics clashed with political reality. Councilman, Detective Ruiz stated cautiously, may I at least verify her identity through military channels? A simple telephone call. Councilman Vaughn studied Detective Ruiz. You are new to Greenfield, are you not, Detective? Transferred 6 months ago, sir. Then allow me to elucidate how matters function here. Councilman Vaughn moved closer. The checkpoint program is indispensable to Greenfield's security and property values. Occasional complaints are to be anticipated. They are addressed discreetly and swiftly. By violating rights? Detective Ruiz inquired. Councilman Vaughn's smile turned cold. By maintaining order. Do not overcomplicate your role, Detective. The telephone on the wall suddenly rang. All 3 turned towards it. Captain Harlan answered. Captain Harlan? He listened, frowning. What type of call? His countenance shifted from vexation to bewilderment. From where? He inquired. Captain Harlan's complexion paled noticeably. He disconnected the call. What is it? Councilman Vaughn demanded. The reception desk has received inquiries regarding a General Brooks, Captain Harlan stated with measured deliberation. From whom? Councilman Vaughn pressed. Captain Harlan swallowed audibly. The Pentagon, he confirmed. A profound silence descended upon the chamber. Councilman Vaughn and Captain Harland exchanged a knowing glance. Likely her associates engaging in mischief, Councilman Vaughn dismissed the notion. Captain, continue with your processing. And sir, Captain Harland interjected, they specified her by designation and rank. They were aware of her presence here, he clarified. Councilman Vaughn turned his attention to General Nadia Brooks, re-evaluating her. Detective Ruiz's eyes widened perceptibly upon observing the 4 stars adorning her identification. Sir, do you comprehend the identity of the individual we have detained? He asked. Councilman Vaughn silenced him with a commanding gesture. Captain, conduct a thorough verification of this matter immediately. Captain Harland departed with haste. Councilman Vaughn regarded General Nadia Brooks with a newfound wariness. If you are indeed affiliated with the military, Councilman Vaughn stated, you must grasp the significance of security perimeters. I comprehend constitutional liberties, General Nadia Brooks replied. Councilman Vaughn's practiced political smile reappeared. General, assuming that is your status, surely we can resolve this misunderstanding amicably. The telephone rang once more. Captain Harland answered from his position outside. His voice carried through the entryway. Yes, sir. Yes, she is present. No, sir. I understand, sir, he responded. Councilman Vaughn observed the entrance with escalating apprehension. Captain Harland re-entered, visibly perturbed. That was Colonel Mitchell of the Pentagon Military Police. They have substantiated her identity. Excellent. Councilman Vaughn regained his composure swiftly, then released the general forthwith, extending our apologies for the miscommunication. There is more to this, Captain Harland said quietly. They are dispatching representatives here presently. Councilman Vaughn's political veneer fractured. What representatives? He inquired. A military investigative contingent, Captain Harland stated. They specifically referenced your checkpoint initiative, sir. Understanding dawned in his eyes. This was no random occurrence. He realized her presence at the... General Nadia Brooks met his gaze with unwavering resolve. The station's primary telephone began to ring insistently. The persistent ringing reverberated throughout the premises, multiple lines now illuminated across various desks. Councilman Vaughn moved toward the interrogation room door, closing it with a decisive click. His political equanimity eroded further. What precisely is transpiring here? He demanded. General Nadia Brooks remained reticent. Her objective did not necessitate an explanation. Captain Harland's radio crackled to life. Captain, we are receiving numerous incoming communications. Pentagon Department of Justice Governor's Office. Manage them, Councilman Vaughn commanded curtly. Sir, Captain Harland replied, they are specifically inquiring about General Brooks. Detective Ruiz observed this exchange with growing comprehension. He moved closer to General Nadia Brooks. Would you prefer these restraints be removed, General? He inquired softly. Councilman Vaughn glared at him. Detective, step aside. Sir, she has been confirmed as a military general, Detective Ruiz argued. It is my prerogative to continue her detainment, Councilman Vaughn interrupted forcefully. He gestured toward General Nadia Brooks. Whatever charade you are perpetuating concludes now, General Nadia Brooks finally declared. This is not a game, Councilman. It is an investigation. An investigation? Councilman Vaughn laughed, though uncertainty tinged his tone. Into what? He questioned. Systematic infringements of civil liberties through discriminatory checkpoint methodologies, General Nadia Brooks stated, targeting areas predominantly inhabited by minority populations, contravening Fourth Amendment protections, and implementing quotas predicated on ethnicity and district. Councilman Vaughn's countenance hardened. Preposterous allegations, he asserted. Documented accusations, General Nadia Brooks corrected him. Captain Harland's radio crackled anew. Captain, military vehicles are approaching. Councilman Vaughn's political calculations visibly shifted towards self-preservation. He turned to Captain Har. Release her immediately. Attribute it to miscommunication. Place blame on the officers who effectuated the apprehension. Captain Harland hesitated. Sir, Officer Kane adhered strictly to your checkpoint protocols. Then, blame the protocols, Councilman Vaughn hissed venomously. Just contain this situation. Detective Ruiz stepped forward, producing a small key from his pocket. He unlocked General Nadia Brooks's handcuffs. My apologies, General, he said formally. Councilman Vaughn observed this with mounting alarm. Detective, prepare the requisite documentation for the General's immediate liberation. Detective Ruiz nodded, but made no move to depart. Now, Detective, in a moment, sir. Detective Ruiz turned to General Nadia Brooks. General, may I inquire as to what transpires next? General Nadia Brooks rubbed her wrists where the restraints had left their mark. Merely what transpires next, Detective Ruiz. Councilman Vaughn chuckled nervously. A simple misunderstanding does not necessitate such theatrics. Documented civil rights violations are not a misunderstanding, General Nadia Brooks retorted. Detective Ruiz looked between them. General Nadia Brooks nodded. The Pentagon has been monitoring Greenfield's checkpoint initiative since its inception, amassing evidence and constructing a case. She consulted her timepiece, and now that case is complete. Captain Harlan's radio crackled once more. Captain, 3 black sport utility vehicles have entered the parking area. Military personnel are disembarking. Councilman Vaughn moved toward the door. I need to make some calls. Your calls will prove futile, Councilman, General Nadia Brooks stated. This inquiry operates under federal jurisdiction. Councilman Vaughn's hand froze on the doorknob. His political facade crumbled entirely. Detective Ruiz moved closer to General Nadia Brooks. He discreetly slid a USB drive across the table. Internal Affairs has been investigating the checkpoint program, he whispered, but we repeatedly encountered impediments. Administrative obstruction. Evidence of direct interference, General Nadia Brooks inquired quietly. Detective Ruiz nodded. Everything I could procure. Checkpoint locations, arrest demographics, internal communications. It is time, General, he whispered. The interrogation room door swung open. A military officer in full dress uniform entered, accompanied by 2 military police. The Silver Eagle insignia identified him as Colonel Mitchell. Colonel Mitchell surveyed the room, his gaze settling upon General Nadia. General Brooks, he saluted crisply. Colonel, General Nadia Brooks returned the salute. Thank you for your prompt response. Of course, ma'am. Colonel Mitchell turned to the others. I am Colonel Mitchell, Pentagon Investigative Services. These are my associates. Councilman Vaughn stepped forward, his political smile re-established. Councilman Derek Vaughn, Greenfield City Council, this has been an unfortunate... Sir, Colonel Mitchell interrupted. Kindly remain within the station. My team will have inquiries for you shortly. Councilman Vaughn's smile faltered. Inquiries? He repeated. I assure you, I had no awareness of the General's improper detention. Noted, Colonel Mitchell said impassively. He turned to Captain Har. Captain, secure this room for the General's use. We shall require your main conference room for our team. Captain Harland hesitated. Colonel, this is a police precinct. You lack jurisdiction. I possess direct authorization from the Secretary of Defense. Colonel Mitchell cut him off. Your cooperation is not optional. The station became a hive of activity. Military personnel installed equipment in the conference room. Computer specialists accessed the station's systems. Evidence collection teams secured records. Councilman Vaughn watched with escalating dismay. This response appears excessive for a simple detainment issue. General Nadia Brooks stood, adjusting her civilian attire. This is not about my detainment, Councilman. It is about what my detainment signifies. She turned to Colonel Mitchell. Status report, she commanded. Teams deployed as instructed, General. Evidence preservation protocols are in effect. Pentagon liaison is briefing the governor presently. Councilman Vaughn attempted to depart. 2 military police officers politely but firmly redirected him back. This is preposterous, he protested. I have rights. Yes, General Nadia Brooks agreed. Everyone does. That is precisely the point. General Nadia Brooks and Colonel Mitchell proceeded to the conference room, now transformed into a command center. Digital displays illustrated checkpoint locations throughout Greenfield, all strategically situated between Westfield Heights and affluent residential areas. Detective Ruiz followed, carrying case files. General, I've brought the internal documentation you requested. Thank you, Detective. Your assistance is invaluable, General Nadia Brooks stated. Councilman Vaughn and Captain Harland were escorted in, directed to sit apart from each other. Officer Kane joined them, evident confusion on his face. General Nadia Brooks stood at the head of the table. The room fell silent. "Gentlemen," she began, "the Pentagon received numerous complaints concerning a police checkpoint initiative targeting minority neighborhoods in Greenfield. Initial assessments indicated Fourth Amendment violations. Further investigation uncovered something more disturbing." She activated the primary display. A map appeared, delineating checkpoint arrest statistics. Red dots clustered exclusively within minority enclaves. "Selective enforcement," General Nadia Brooks continued. "Checkpoint stops leading to searches. 89% minority drivers. Arrests stemming from those stops. 94% minority individuals." Captain Harland shifted uncomfortably. "Crime statistics justify deployment. Traffic infractions occur with equal frequency across all demographics." General Nadia Brooks interrupted. "Yet your checkpoint program yielded these outcomes." She altered the display. Internal police electronic mail communications appeared. "Captain Harland, this is your directive to officers. Concentrate on vehicles originating from Westfield Heights. Higher yield for arrests." Captain Harland paled. "That is taken out of context." "Context is provided by your arrest quotas," General Nadia Brooks countered, displaying another document specifically targeting Westfield Heights residents. Councilman Vaughn interrupted. "General, these operational parameters were managed by the police department. As councilman, I merely sanctioned the program's conceptual framework." General Nadia Brooks turned to him. "Is that so?" she inquired. She nodded to Colonel Mitchell, who displayed a new document. Councilman Vaughn's signature appeared at the foot of detailed checkpoint operational procedures. "This directive mandates the targeting of specific communities," General Nadia Brooks noted. "Your signature authorizes racial profiling." Councilman Vaughn's political facade disintegrated entirely. "This is a witch hunt." "This is accountability," General Nadia Brooks corrected him. She turned to Detective Ruiz. "Detective, please elucidate what you discovered during your internal inquiry." Detective Ruiz stepped forward. "I observed troubling patterns in checkpoint arrests. When I voiced my concerns through established channels, I was reassigned. I continued documenting discrepancies." He opened his file. "Checkpoint officers were instructed to apply differential standards contingent upon driver's ethnicity and place of residence. Vehicles from Westfield Heights received heightened scrutiny irrespective of their driving conduct." Captain Harland interrupted. "That is not—" "Your body camera footage contradicts your assertion, Captain." General Nadia Brooks stated that she played a video. Captain Harland appeared to be instructing officers prior to a checkpoint deployment. "Remember, Westfield vehicles get the full treatment. Make the stop stick." Councilman Vaughn stood abruptly. "I must contact my legal counsel." "You will have that opportunity," General Nadia Brooks assured him. "After we conclude this interview." She slid a folder across the table. "These are merely from the most recent period of operation." Captain Harland's face drained of color as he opened the file. The investigation extended into the night. Military personnel meticulously processed evidence. Technical teams analyzed the department's servers. Legal advisors documented violations. In a quiet alcove of the conference room, General Nadia Brooks encountered Detective Ruiz poring over files. "Detective," she said, joining him, "your assistance has been crucial." Detective Ruiz looked up, exhaustion etched upon his features. "I should have acted sooner." "You did what you could within a compromised system," General Nadia Brooks stated. "That requires considerable courage." Detective Ruiz closed the file. "When I transferred to Greenfield, I had no inkling that the checkpoint program was already established, presented as an innovative approach to community policing." "When did you ascertain the truth?" General Nadia Brooks inquired. Detective Ruiz hesitated, pain flashing across his features. "My brother came to visit," he finally divulged. "He was stopped at a checkpoint, detained for hours. No charges were filed, merely intimidation." He stared at his hands. "He is a pediatric surgeon, drives a respectable automobile, but they merely perceived a black man in an undesirable vicinity." General Nadia Brooks concluded his thought. Detective Ruiz nodded. "I submitted complaints, utilized proper channels. Evidence vanished." Witnesses altered their statements. The system protected itself. That is why I'm here, Detective Ruiz stated. Sometimes the system necessitates external impetus for change, General Nadia Brooks explained. Why you specifically? Detective Ruiz inquired. Why did the Pentagon dispatch a 4-star general for a local police investigation? Because certain matters transcend jurisdictional boundaries, General Nadia Brooks explained. Civil rights violations exert an impact on national security, erode public confidence, and undermine the very Constitution we are all pledged to uphold. Detective Ruiz absorbed this information. What becomes of the officers and Councilman Vaughn? Justice, General Nadia Brooks said simply. Due process. The same rights they denied to others, and to the individuals they wrongfully apprehended, the lives they irrevocably altered. Part of the redress includes case reviews, expungements, and compensation. General Nadia Brooks met his gaze. Your brother's case will be among them. Detective Ruiz quickly wiped his eyes. This is not solely about today, is it, General? No, she answered. It is about every day preceding this and every day that follows. Detective Ruiz straightened, his professional composure returning. What is our next course of action? Evidence compilation, General Nadia Brooks stated. Your testimony will be of paramount importance before the federal grand jury. I am prepared, Detective Ruiz affirmed. For the first time since her apprehension, General Nadia Brooks smiled. I know. Dawn broke over the Greenfield police station. The parking area teemed with governmental vehicles. FBI agents joined the military investigators. Justice Department attorneys arrived bearing subpoenas. Within the conference room, the atmosphere transitioned from investigation to prosecution. Evidence boards covered the walls. Computer screens displayed data analyses. Legal teams prepared documentation. Captain Harlan sat in isolation, separated from his officers. Councilman Vaughn's legal representative had arrived hours prior, whispering urgent counsel that his client disregarded. Colonel Mitchell entered with a new contingent. General, the Secretary of Defense sends his regards. The investigation has been elevated to Joint Task Force status. General Nadia Brooks nodded. Excellent. Let us commence with the comprehensive briefing. The room filled with senior officials, military, federal, and state representatives. The governor's delegate occupied a seat adjacent to the Deputy Attorney General. General Nadia Brooks assumed her position at the head of the table. The room fell silent. Ladies and gentlemen, she began. What commenced as a civil rights monitoring operation has unveiled systematic constitutional transgressions and an abuse of authority. Today I present a comprehensive body of evidence categorized into 3 distinct segments: visual documentation, audio recordings, and written records. She activated the primary display. First, visual evidence. Dash camera footage materialized. A vehicle from Westfield Heights stopped at a checkpoint. The driver, exhibiting professionalism and politeness, was ordered from the automobile without justification. A search was conducted without consent. When he questioned the legality of the action, he was apprehended for obstruction. This pattern was repeated across hundreds of documented stops, General Nadia Brooks explained. She displayed split-screen footage. White drivers proceeded through checkpoints with cursory examinations. Black drivers from Westfield Heights endured prolonged detentions, searches, and frequent arrests. Checkpoint camera systems captured stark racial disparities in enforcement. White drivers were stopped with an 8% frequency, black drivers at 82%. General Nadia Brooks continued. Councilman Vaughn interrupted. Selective editing can fabricate misleading patterns. These are your department's unaltered recordings, General Nadia Brooks replied. Complete timestamps remain intact. She displayed a heat map illustrating checkpoint placements. Checkpoints were exclusively positioned to intercept residents departing minority neighborhoods, particularly Westfield Heights. Captain Harlan shifted uncomfortably. Strategic deployment based on traffic flow patterns is contradicted by your own traffic study. General Nadia Brooks interrupted, displaying the document which recommended entirely different locations. She moved to a new screen. Second category, audio evidence. General Nadia Brooks activated an audio file. Captain Harlan's voice resonated throughout the room. The councilman desires more arrests from Westfield. Make it happen, Officer Caney responded. Even without cause. Captain Harlan, find cause. A broken tail light. Failure to signal. Get them out of the car. You'll discover something. Councilman Vaughn stood. That recording could be anyone. Voice pattern analysis confirms Captain Harlan and Officer Caney, General Nadia Brooks replied, recorded during official briefings. She played another recording. Councilman Vaughn's voice. Now, the checkpoint program serves a dual purpose. Public safety is what we convey to the press. Property values are the true objective. Keep the element where it belongs, in Westfield, not in our neighborhoods. Councilman Vaughn sank back into his chair. My military-issued watch recorded our entire interaction, including unguarded remarks. When you believed I was unable to hear. The federal officials exchanged significant glances. The evidence mounted, rendering dispute impossible. Finally, documentary evidence, General Nadia Brooks continued. The screen displayed internal electronic mail, text messages, and official memoranda. Captain Harlan. Officers. Utilize the checkpoint quota system as previously discussed. Councilman desires increased numbers from the Westfield demographic. Department statistics appeared. Arrest rates categorized by race, search rates by neighborhood, conviction outcomes segmented by demographic. The data revealed unmistakable patterns of discrimination, General Nadia Brooks explained. Checkpoint stops resulted in arrests for black drivers at 7 times the rate of white drivers for identical infractions. She displayed arrest reports side by side. The same violation, different races, disparate outcomes. But the most damning evidence originates from the program's inception, General Nadia Brooks stated, as she revealed city planning documents, communications between property developers and Councilman Vaughn, and financial records. Councilman Vaughn received substantial financial contributions from developers who sought to revitalize Westfield Heights. General Nadia Brooks explained their development strategy necessitated the displacement of current residents. The documents chronicle the narrative. Checkpoint harassment designed to coerce Westfield residents into departing. Property values intentionally depressed. Developers strategically positioned to acquire properties at reduced prices. Civil rights violations motivated by financial gain. Councilman Vaughn's attorney whispered urgently in his ear. Councilman Vaughn disregarded him. This is fabricated, Councilman Vaughn insisted. A politically motivated attack. The evidence speaks for itself, General Nadia Brooks replied. And now, the final component, she nodded to Detective Ruiz, who connected his USB drive to the system. Detective Ruiz conducted his own internal investigation, General Nadia Brooks explained, documenting checkpoint operations from within. Detective Ruiz stood. I collected evidence of quotas targeting specific neighborhoods, documented systemic civil rights violations, and recorded instructions to disregard constitutional protections. The officers' performance reviews materialized on the screen, detailing arrest statistics linked to Westfield Heights, alongside schedules for checkpoints deliberately placed near black churches, community hubs, and local businesses. Detective Ruiz highlighted the most critical finding. Complaints concerning checkpoint procedures were systematically suppressed. He presented the incontrovertible evidence. Complaint forms marked as resolved without any actual investigation, witness accounts tampered with, and video footage erased. Detective Ruiz further elaborated that when residents attempted to seek recourse through official channels, the system was engineered to silence them. A profound quiet descended upon the room as the assembled officials absorbed the weight of the presented evidence. General Nadia Brooks then clarified that the operation was not about her personal detention. She explained that after months of intelligence gathering, she had volunteered to directly experience the system. Her ordeal precisely mirrored the predictions of their investigation. Turning her attention to Councilman Vaughn, she stated, "Your checkpoint initiative infringed upon the Fourth Amendment, unfairly targeted individuals based on their race, and obstructed justice when challenged." A Justice Department representative then stood, declaring, "We have seen sufficient evidence. This substantiates federal civil rights violations." Councilman Vaughn looked around frantically, protesting, "This is a misunderstanding. The program served legitimate public safety objectives." General Nadia Brooks countered, "The evidence directly contradicts that assertion." Councilman Vaughan made a final attempt at defense. General Brooks deliberately provoked officers and engineered this entire situation. It was entrapment. I merely drove through a public checkpoint. General Nadia Brooks calmly responded, "My rights were violated because of my identity and my place of residence, precisely like hundreds of other citizens." She then revealed the final document, a classified Pentagon authorization signed by the Secretary of Defense, initiating an investigation following reports of discriminatory treatment by military personnel at his checkpoints. The gravity of his predicament finally dawned on Councilman Vaughan, and he turned in panic to his attorney. "The investigation is concluded," General Nadia Brooks announced. "Federal prosecutors will now determine the specific charges." The Pentagon investigator connected the final laptop to the projector, revealing that the evidence spanned years. FBI agents approached Captain Harlan, Officer Caney, and other officers implicated in the scheme. Justice Department officials surrounded Councilman Vaughan. "Edward Vaughan, you are under federal investigation for civil rights violations, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice," the lead federal prosecutor declared. Councilman Vaughan abruptly stood, exclaiming, "I need to make a statement to the press. Control the narrative." He moved towards the exit, but military police were already in position. Councilman Vaughan attempted to flee through a rear door, where more military police awaited. Inside a congressional hearing room, observers, press, and officials filled the space. General Nadia Brooks sat at the witness table, resplendent in her full dress uniform, 4 stars adorning her shoulders, a testament to decades of distinguished service etched in her medals and ribbons. The committee chairperson called the session to order. "This hearing on civil rights enforcement in local policing will now commence. General Brooks, thank you for your testimony today." General Nadia Brooks adjusted her microphone. "Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to address this committee." The chairperson requested, "Please summarize the Pentagon's investigation into the Greenfield Checkpoint program." General Nadia Brooks began, "The Department of Defense received numerous complaints from military personnel who experienced discriminatory treatment at police checkpoints in Greenfield. Our initial inquiries uncovered a pattern of constitutional infringements, specifically targeting minority communities." She methodically presented the evidence: the discriminatory placement of checkpoints, stark racial disparities in enforcement, and the financial incentives underpinning the program. "Our investigation confirmed systematic violations of the Fourth Amendment. Citizens were detained, searched, and apprehended without probable cause. When they attempted to assert their rights, they faced additional charges." A committee member interrupted, asking, "Why did this necessitate Pentagon involvement rather than the Justice Department's?" General Nadia Brooks explained, "The initial complaints originated from military personnel. However, we swiftly discovered that civilian populations were subjected to identical treatment. We collaborated with Justice Department officials to ensure a comprehensive inquiry." General Nadia Brooks displayed a checkpoint map illustrating how the program strategically isolated the predominantly black community of Westfield Heights. Residents endured constant harassment while commuting to work, attending school, or shopping. The evidence unfolded on screen, revealing arrest statistics broken down by race, search rates by neighborhood, and conviction patterns that unequivocally demonstrated discrimination. "Most disturbingly," General Nadia Brooks continued, "the program operated with explicit city approval. Councilman Vaughan personally directed the police to target specific demographics." Another committee member leaned forward, inquiring, "And what is the current status of those involved?" General Nadia Brooks reported, "Councilman Vaughan faces federal civil rights charges. Captain Harlan and 5 officers have been indicted. The checkpoint program has been permanently terminated." She paused before adding, "Most importantly, all convictions resulting from these unconstitutional checkpoints are currently under review for expungement." The chairperson nodded. "General, your decision to personally test the checkpoint system was unconventional. What motivated this approach?" General Nadia Brooks responded, "Sometimes systems only reveal their true nature through direct experience. As a black woman and a military officer, I was uniquely positioned to document the disparity between how citizens ought to be treated and how they were actually treated." A supportive committee member interjected, I would like to acknowledge Detective Javier Ruiz, whose internal investigation provided crucial evidence. Detective, please stand. Detective Ruiz rose from the audience, earning a round of applause for his courage. General Nadia Brooks commended his ethical commitment, stating, Detective Ruiz risked his career to document these violations. His integrity represents the highest standard in law enforcement. The chairperson's demeanor turned serious. What changes do you recommend to prevent similar abuses nationwide? General Nadia Brooks suggested, firstly, independent oversight of checkpoint operations. Secondly, mandatory data collection on stops categorized by demographic. Thirdly, clear accountability for departments exhibiting discriminatory patterns. She looked directly at the committee, emphasizing, most importantly, we must recognize that constitutional rights are not optional. They do not vary based on race, neighborhood, or economic status. The hearing continued with further questions and testimony. General Nadia Brooks provided detailed responses, consistently reiterating the fundamental principle of equal protection under the law. As the session drew to a close, the chairperson made an announcement. Based on this investigation, we are introducing legislation to establish federal standards for checkpoint operations. The Equitable Enforcement Act will mandate transparency, accountability, and constitutional compliance. Outside the hearing room, General Nadia Brooks met with Detective Ruiz. The committee was profoundly impressed with your evidence, she told him. The FBI has offered you a position within their Civil Rights Division. Detective Ruiz smiled. I have accepted. Change sometimes requires working from within. General Nadia Brooks then inquired about his brother. His record has been expunged, Detective Ruiz confirmed. He is assisting in organizing a class action lawsuit for other checkpoint victims. General Nadia Brooks nodded approvingly. Justice may be slow, but it prevails when dedicated individuals insist upon it, Detective Ruiz added. In a community center in Westfield Heights, residents gathered for a town hall meeting with their new police chief. General Nadia Brooks, now in civilian attire, sat unobtrusively in the back, observing Detective Ruiz, who, no longer a detective but a community liaison, facilitated dialogue between residents and law enforcement. The new chief unveiled reformed policies. Body cameras would always be active, stop data would be publicly accessible, and a community oversight board would possess genuine authority. Following the meeting, an elderly resident approached General Nadia Brooks. You're the general, aren't you? The one who took down those checkpoints. General Nadia Brooks smiled. I merely helped expose the truth. You did far more than that, the woman stated. My grandson was arrested at one of those checkpoints and lost his scholarship because of it. Now his records are cleared and he's back in college. I'm pleased to hear that, General Nadia Brooks replied. The woman continued, There's something I don't quite understand. You're a general. You could have used your rank from the outset. Why go through the arrest? General Nadia Brooks explained, Because most individuals lack the rank or privilege to protect their rights. The system should operate equitably for everyone, not just those with status. The woman nodded thoughtfully. My grandson now wants to become a lawyer. He says someone needs to understand the law to defend the community. He is correct, General Nadia Brooks agreed. Understanding your rights is the initial step toward defending them. Outside, Detective Ruiz waited to drive General Nadia Brooks to the airport. Returning to the Pentagon? He inquired. Yes, General Nadia Brooks confirmed, but our civil rights oversight will not cease with Greenfield. This case has established a framework for identifying similar patterns nationwide. As they drove past the former checkpoint location, Detective Ruiz observed, The checkpoint is gone, but the work persists. General Nadia Brooks gazed out at the community, observing families walking freely and residents no longer living in fear of arbitrary enforcement. This, she stated, is what true security looks like. Not checkpoints and harassment, but people living their lives with dignity and equal protection under the law. The committee chairperson concluded the session. This hearing is adjourned, but our work has just begun. General Nadia Brooks stepped into the sunlight outside the Capitol building and entered a Pentagon conference room. General Nadia Brooks stood before a wall of monitors displaying checkpoint data from cities across the nation. Colonel Mitchell entered with updated reports. Implementation of the new oversight protocols is proceeding as scheduled, he announced. 17 departments have voluntarily reformed their checkpoint practices and the resistors. General Nadia Brooks inquired, "Has the Justice Department initiated investigations into jurisdictions exhibiting patterns similar to Greenfield?" Colonel Mitchell confirmed, "Yes, the Justice Department has opened inquiries into 9 jurisdictions." General Nadia Brooks studied the data, noting familiar patterns highlighted by red flags. Checkpoints concentrated around minority neighborhoods, disparate enforcement statistics, and complaint suppression. "The Greenfield model is proving effective," Colonel Mitchell remarked, identifying indicators of systemic discrimination before they become entrenched. General Nadia Brooks nodded, "And our military personnel reports are down 63%. Colonel Mitchell confirmed, "The warning system is functioning. Service members are now reporting potential civil rights issues directly to our office." General Nadia Brooks's secure phone chimed with a text message from Detective Ruiz. "Councilman Vaughn, sentenced today. 5 years federal restitution ordered for checkpoint victims. Justice delayed, but delivered." Her assistant entered. "General, your next appointment is here." A young black woman in an Air Force uniform entered. "Lieutenant Serena Blake, recently detained at a checkpoint outside Maxwell Air Force Base." General Nadia Brooks greeted her. "Thank you for reporting your experience." Lieutenant Serena Blake saluted crisply. "I wasn't sure if it warranted attention until I heard about your Greenfield operation." "Every data point is significant," General Nadia Brooks assured her. "Your report aligns with others from that jurisdiction." Lieutenant Serena Blake straightened. "What happens now, ma'am?" General Nadia Brooks explained, "Now, we follow the evidence, document the patterns, and ensure that constitutional protections apply equally to everyone." She moved to the window, gazing out at the Pentagon courtyard, where service members from all backgrounds contributed to a common mission. "The uniform does not shield us from discrimination," General Nadia Brooks told Lieutenant Serena Blake, "but it does imbue us with the responsibility to uphold the Constitution for ourselves and for every citizen." Lieutenant Serena Blake nodded in understanding. "That's why I reported it, not just for myself." "Precisely," General Nadia Brooks agreed. "Systems only evolve when good people recognize injustice and take action." She returned to the data displays, the ongoing work laid out before her. "No checkpoints," General Nadia Brooks stated. "No double standards, only equal justice under law." The map of America glowed on the screen, each indicator representing the work yet to be done, communities awaiting fairness, and rights requiring protection. General Nadia Brooks resumed her work. Did that narrative capture your attention? Please click the like button now to support the creation of more compelling justice thrillers like this one. PAP Stories delivers powerful, voice-only narratives that keep you captivated, whether you're commuting, exercising, or simply relaxing. Our distinctive storytelling style immerses you in intense moments of injustice and guides you through the satisfying path to accountability. Subscribe to ensure you never miss our weekly uploads featuring gripping justice thrillers, stories of ordinary individuals confronting extraordinary challenges, powerful narratives with unexpected plot twists, and premium, voice-only content perfect for multitasking. Enable notifications so you are immediately alerted when we release our next story. Your support enables us to produce more impactful content. Justice speaks volumes.
In the end, the truth always comes out. Mwah.